Hey there, my friend. Grant Baldwin here from the Speaker Lab. Hey, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us for today's training. Now, before we get into today's training, I want to walk through just a couple of housekeeping things to make sure we are on the same page. Now, first of all, what you need to know is that today's training is not live. It is a recording of a previous live training that we did on this topic, and we feel that this is actually one of the best trainings that we have done on this. So we wanted to provide it to you in this format so that you could access it at a time and place that makes the most sense to you. Now, although this is a recording, this isn't one of those things where you can kind of start and stop, and it's not like a normal YouTube video or something. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you know there's a set start time and a set end time, and so that you block out enough time to watch the recording in its entirety. Now, it's going to be about 60 minutes or so of the training, and then we're going to get into some Q&A. So you really want to allocate about 75 minutes or so of your schedule. So turn off your cell phone, turn off Facebook, lock out all those things, and make sure that you are dialed in and that you're ready to go. Now, although this is a recording, we would still encourage you to engage in the chat. That's something that we check and review, and we have people in there that can help with stuff from time to time. Also, if you have other questions, please feel free to email us directly at support@thespeakerlab.com. Again, that's support@thespeakerlab.com. One other thing that I'll mention to you is that we have a lot of freebies that we're going to be giving out and including a lot of free resources to, again, help you get going and help you book gigs quicker. So we're going to talk about, right out of the gate here, 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. We're going to talk about 3 secrets that you need to know to find and book speaking engagements. We got a lot to cover here, a short amount of time to do it. So let's jump right in, and I hope you enjoy today's training. All right, there you go. Let me know if you can see my screen. All right, want to make sure that that is coming through for you. Once again, we are stoked that you are here. We are glad that you're here. We got a lot of people joining us from literally all over the world. So I always like to check the chat and make sure everybody is alive and well. So if you're feeling good, if you're ready to go, just type in the chat, I'm ready. Type in, let's do this. I don't know, throw something in there so that I know that you are good to go. You guys feeling good? You excited? All right. So once again, welcome. We are glad you guys are here. So today we're going to be talking all about how to get booked and paid to speak without having an existing platform or being salesy. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you, this probably is not your first webinar. And the first thing I want to mention is that if you've failed or had trouble at finding and booking speaking gigs in the past, the reality is it's not your fault. Okay. That there's a lot of information out there and it can really be overwhelming and confusing. And so many times that information overload is what keeps you from success. Okay. And that's okay. So if you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed without being a celebrity or having a book deal or a big name or a huge platform or some crazy story about some tragedy that you've overcome, then I want to put those fears to rest. All right. You just need the right person to explain it to you. And so that's what we're here for. I know that you have the dream to change the world and to make an impact. And so one of our core beliefs is that your message deserves to be shared. And so today we want to show you exactly how to make that happen during this webinar. Now, my goal here in our time together is that this presentation, whether you're a beginner still trying to understand the speaking world and you're just getting started and you're just like, I just don't know what I don't know. Or maybe for you, you're a more experienced speaker and you're trying to book more gigs or command higher fees. We want to walk you through a step-by-step system of exactly how you can book a steady flow of paid speaking engagements so you can build a predictable speaking business. Now, before we get in here, we're going to come back to this in a little bit, but if you haven't already checked this out, I encourage you to stop by and check out myspeakerfee.com. Myspeakerfee.com. It takes about 30 seconds to complete this. We're going to discuss it later, all right? So if you haven't already done this, I want you to go to there, myspeakerfee.com. I want you to get what your speaking fee should be, and then we're going to come back to that in a little bit. Now, I got a favor to ask of you, all right? My favor is that you would be fully present, that you would be locked in and dialed in here. So I want you to turn off your phone. I want you to turn off Facebook, turn off the TV, lock yourself away. Tell the kids to leave you alone for a little bit because what we're going to be covering here can really have a huge, significant impact. And I don't want you to miss any single thing of what we're talking about, all right? So if you are locked in, you're ready to roll, I want you to type in the chat, type in fully present. If you are fully present, I want you to type that in. Type in the chat, fully present. Now, if you got a question as we go, feel free to drop that in the chat, and we'll try to get to those as we go. But at the same time, we're going to try to answer some more of those questions at the end of our time today. So make sure that you stick around for that.
Also, stick around to the end. We got some bonuses and free things we're going to hook you up with. We're going to give you how to create a killer talk bonus training. So today in our time, we're going to talk a lot more about how to find and book speaking engagements. But at the end of our time, we're going to give you a bonus training on how to create a killer talk. Also going to give you your speaker website checklist plus 10 of the top speaker websites. So make sure you stick around for that. And then finally, we're going to give you a link to download today's slides. So I'm going to tell you what, I talk fast. I'm going to go through slides fast. It's going to feel like drinking from a fire hose. So make sure you stick around to the end and we will give you a link to download those slides. All right. Now, let me know if any of these things sound like you. Maybe you've said things like, I'm having trouble finding speaking engagements, or I don't know how to connect with decision makers. I'm not sure how much to charge. Am I good enough to be a speaker? Do I have the confidence to be on stage? What if I'm not an expert? Do I need some special qualifications to be a speaker? And can I actually do this? Now, these are questions that I hear all the time from speakers, but I'm curious, how many of these are things that you have said or wondered before? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a poll there for you, and I want you just to click on that. Which one of these resonates with you? Maybe some of these, a few of these, none of these, all of these. Which one resonates with you and where you're at? Lots of you chiming in right there in that poll. So which of these sounds like you? So if these things sound familiar, then the good news is you are in the right place. Now, what we're going to be talking about here is we're going to be talking about the Speaker Success Roadmap. This is kind of an overview, a framework that we're going to walk through of exactly how to find and book speaking engagements. We're going to talk about the 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. We're going to talk about the 7 speaking markets to choose from. Also going to talk about 3 secrets that you need to know that will give you massive confidence with finding speaking gigs. And then finally, we're going to talk about 10 ways to get paid beyond just speaking on stage. Now, what makes this training different? Well, this is based on real world results, right? This isn't based on theories or ideas. This is actual results, not only in my own business, but in literally the thousands of students that we have worked with. And so I've got something to ask of you, all right? I'm going to ask in return, I have something to ask of you. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to make you an offer to help you book more speaking gigs faster through our premium training program called Booked and Paid to Speak. I don't want you to invest in it unless I fulfill my promise to you today. But if I deliver on my word, you should at least feel obligated to just consider this special webinar offer. All right, sound good? Is that fair? If that sounds fair, just give me a yes in the chat there. Sound good? All right. Now, since we're going to be spending some time together, let me give you the quick nutshell here on how I got into speaking. So I'm married to my high school sweetheart. Aw, isn't that precious? Throw an aw in the chat there. Check this out. You're going to like this. When we started dating in high school, I was a freshman and she was a junior. Oh, yeah. Hashtag baller, hashtag cougar, perhaps. Today we have 3 beautiful little girls. So it's me and a house full of women, which is awesome. It's like my own little Barbie dream house. I absolutely love it. Love my wife, love my daughters, love the life that we get to live. And so my career actually started, I went to Bible college and then worked at a local church as a youth pastor. And to be honest with you, parts of it I liked, parts of it I didn't like. But one of the things I really enjoyed was I really enjoyed speaking. And I had a lot of opportunities to speak, felt like I was decent as a speaker, wanted to do more of it, but I had no idea where to begin. And I kind of felt like this. Let me know if this resonates with you. I felt like I had the potential, but I needed the plan. I had the potential, but I needed the plan. How many of you feel like that right now? How many of you say that describes you? If that's you, just type in the chat, that's me. You have the potential. You know you're a good speaker. You know you have the ability to be a great speaker. You know you have the ability to make a difference, but just like, I need the plan. I need to know what, I just don't know what I don't know. If that's you, just type that in the chat. Just say, that's me. You know you can do this, but you just don't know where to start. Again, you don't know what you don't know. And so that's exactly where I was at when I got started as a speaker. And so one of the first things that I did is I invested in my business. I attended a speaker boot camp here, and you can see I invested $999 to attend this training. Now, as a former youth pastor, I got my start speaking largely to in the education space, speaking to high schools and colleges, to parents and teachers. Today, I speak more to associations and with entrepreneurs. And so I invested in my business to learn from someone who was where I wanted to be. And I'll be honest with you, that was a huge investment for me to invest that $999. But if we fast forward about 2 months, I booked my first gig, and I'll share with you a couple pictures from it. I spoke for about 45 minutes or so to this group of about 300, 400 people. And I got a question for you. I'll put up another poll for you. How much do you think I was paid for that very first keynote? How much do you think I was paid for that very first keynote? Nothing. $100, $500, $1,000, more than 1,000. Maybe they just patted me on the head, gave me an attaboy. Maybe they just gave me a sandwich and lunch, and we called it even. How much do you think I was paid for that very first keynote? You ready for this? This is crazy. They paid me $1,000. $1,000 for that very first keynote. Now, to me, this was just mind-boggling. Like, how many of you, if you got paid $1,000 to speak, like that would be a good day for you? I mean, say you'd be pretty happy with that. If you got paid anything, let alone $1,000 to speak, that'd be a good day, right? And so since then, we've gone on to speak at some amazing conferences and events literally all over the world, and I've just had some amazing opportunities to speak and share a message. And so I want to share this with you. I want to share how learning to get booked and paid to speak changed my business. Since starting my speaking career, I've earned over $2 million from speaking, had over 500 paid speaking engagements, given over 750 live presentations, 46 US states that I've spoken in, over 500,000 people that I've spoke to live. 13,000 was the biggest audience that I ever keynoted an event for. And I've also sold over 30,000 copies, physical copies of a self-published book. Now, I stress physical copies. You know, we're not talking like PDF or Kindle version, but like actual physical copies. And so maybe for you, maybe for some of you, you've already got a book and you're wanting to promote that book through speaking. Speaking is a great way to promote your book and to share your message in other ways. And so I want you to know this, like these numbers are nice, but to me, they represent more than just numbers. They represent lives that I've been able to impact, and maybe even more than that, it's how it's impacted my own life. And so I'm going to share this with you real quick, how learning to get booked and paid to speak not only changed my business, but how it changed my own life. So as of today, I don't have a day job. I get to do what I love, with whom I love, when I want. I get to travel and work from anywhere. I get to influence others and make a difference. I have a lot of options and time and money freedom. One of the things our family really values and prioritizes in our life is travel and experiences and adventure. Here's us, we're swimming with dolphins, and my wife and my girls and I. Here's myself and my girls at Disney World and Magic Kingdom in Orlando, and here's us in New York City, apparently standing in the middle of the street, probably breaking some law. And then we actually just recently finished building our dream house that we've been working on for a while, and just we're super stoked about that, and the neighborhood pool party that we got to have here in our backyard. And so again, I don't share this with you in any way at all to be like a pat on the back. Please don't misunderstand it. But I want to say, learning to get booked and paid to speak has changed not only our business, but it's really changed the life for myself, but for my wife, for my daughters, for our family. And so here's a question for you, and this is not rhetorical. I want you to answer this in the chat. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Again, that's not rhetorical. I want you to answer that in the chat. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Maybe for you, it'd be travel. Maybe it's to pay off debt. Maybe it's going to be to quit your job. Maybe it's going to be to spend more time with your family. What is it for you that being a speaker would allow you to do that you currently can't? Like, what if this was you on stage? Like, why can't that be you on stage? That should be you up there on stage. Because one of the things that we believe that I mentioned before is that your message is worth sharing. Your message is worth sharing. All right. Are we ready to get into this? You ready to start your journey? If you're ready, just type in the chat, I'm ready. Type in, let's do this. Type in, buckle up. I don't know, throw something in there. I want to make sure you guys are alive and well. In addition, keep chatting. It's always, I like to see that. I can't see you right now, so I want to make sure that you guys are alive. Well, you guys are a super chatty bunch, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's jump in here. So 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. Let's bust these right out of the gate. First myth is this. Myth number one is that you have to be a world-renowned expert or overcome or have some type of tragic story that you've overcome to be a speaker. Listen, this is not true. Number 2 is that you have to be a celebrity or have an existing platform to be a speaker. This is also not true. Number 3 is that you have to be super salesy to get speaking engagements. Here's the reality. None of these myths are true. That's why they're myths, right? And so if that's not true, then we're going to talk about in just a second what is true. But to kind of guide the rest of our conversation and discussion, we're going to walk through what we call the Speaker Success Roadmap. This is a 5-step process that we'll walk through that will help you know exactly how to find and book speaking engagements. So to do that, It makes the acronym SPEAK. All right, so you can write these down. Write these down. The S is for select a problem to solve. This is the first piece we're going to dive into in just a second. But to give you a high-level overview, the S is for to select a problem to solve. The P is to prepare your talk. Prepare your talk. Once you've understood what the problem is that you're going to solve, the next part is to prepare your talk. The E is to establish yourself as the expert. Establish yourself as the expert. We're going to cover that more of exactly how to do that. The A is for acquire paid speaking gigs. Acquire paid speaking gigs. And then finally is the K is know when to scale. Know when to scale. So again, we're going to use this to guide our entire conversation here, but I want to give you kind of a high-level view of the path we're headed down. So this, again, makes this acronym SPEAK. S-P-E-A-K. All right, so the 3 secrets about being a speaker that you need to know. First one that we're going to dig into, number 1, is that you don't need to have overcome something tragic in your life in order to be a speaker. You don't need to overcome something tragic in your life to be a speaker. Let me introduce you to my friend Josh. When I got started speaking, I met Josh at an event, and he and I have since become friends. We've spoken at several events together. And Josh has a crazy story. He had cancer as a child, ended up having a leg amputated, and went on to become a one-legged downhill skier in the Paralympics. And so he tells me the story. I listen to him share this on stage. I'm just like, I can't compete with that. Like, I'm a normal dude from the Midwest who's had, honestly, a pretty average normal life. Like, I can't compete with that. Like, what about you? How many of these have happened to you? Have you conquered cancer, or climbed Mount Everest, or built a multi-million-dollar startup, or cured a disease, or won a Nobel Peace Prize, or competed in the Olympics, or had a near-death experience? Like, I haven't experienced any of these things. And so if you have, great, that's awesome. But if you haven't, that's still okay. And so one of the things that you have to do as a speaker, though, is that you have to be able to select a problem to solve. Select a problem to solve. Now, how do you identify a problem that you could speak on? Okay, let's dig into that. We're going to walk through what we call the topic trifecta. The topic trifecta. All right. And if you've got a piece of paper, you might scribble this down. These 3 things here, and we're going to make 3 circles here. Okay. The first one is for industry. Industry. So the question being, who is it that you want to speak to? Who is it that you want to speak to? Now, we've identified 7 primary speaking industries, and there's a lot of little subcategories within these, but these are the 7 big speaking industries that exist that hire speakers. So we have corporations, associations, faith and churches, nonprofits, government and military, colleges and universities, and then education, or K through 12. And so it's important that you pick one of these 7 speaking industries that you can focus on. So I'm curious for you, there's no right or wrong answer, but would you post in the chat and let us know which of these 7 most resonate with you and who you would like to speak to? Just put a number in the chat there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Which of these most resonates with you and who it is that you want to be speaking to? Now, it's important that you recognize that you can't speak to everyone. You can't speak to everyone. If you think you can speak to anyone, you really can speak to no one. It's very, very important for us as a speaker that you're really, really clear about who it is that you want to speak to. So the first piece is industry. All right. The second piece is interest. Interest, or what is it that you want to speak about? So we have industry, and then we have interest, or what is it that you want to speak about? So way to think about this would be, assuming you were put in front of your perfect audience to talk about any subject, what would you speak about? What would you want to talk about to them? And ultimately, it's more than just what do you want to talk about, what do you want to say, but what problem can you speak on? What problem can you solve for that audience? Now, just like as it relates to who you want to speak to, if you think you can speak to anybody, you really can speak to nobody. The same thing is true that if you think you can speak about anything, you really can speak about nothing. If someone asks you, what do you speak about? And you say, what do you want me to speak about? Like, that's the wrong answer. Okay. That's not what we're going for. You want to make sure you're really clear about not only what you want to speak on, but what's the problem that you're solving. Now, just because you're interested in something doesn't necessarily mean that there's a market for them, right? Just because you're passionate about it, you want to talk about something, doesn't mean that there's a market that exists for that topic. So if you say, hey, Grant, I want to speak about how to train dogs to raise my children. Okay. That's great, all right, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a market there. So that's why interest has to overlap with industry. You have to have both of them. Does your industry or your audience care about the topic? All right. So we have, again, industry, interest, and then the third one here is integrity. Industry, interest, and integrity. And so what I mean by integrity is, Are you qualified to talk about this subject? Are you qualified to talk about this subject, right? Now, this raises the question, okay, but Grant, I'm interested in this topic. I love this topic, but what if I'm not an expert, right? What if I'm not an expert? Well, let me put it to you like this one. I know nothing about cars. I'm completely clueless when it comes to cars. What about the rest of you? If you're clueless with cars, just type in the chat, just type in clueless. Just type in clueless. I know nothing about cars. So when I take my car to the local mechanic to have the oil change or have the car worked on, to me, that person is the expert. Why? Because they know more about cars than I do. Now, does that mean that they're the world's greatest expert on cars? No, I know that. They know that. But remember, I'm not looking for the world's greatest expert. I'm looking to this one person that knows more about cars than I do. So as a speaker, you don't have to be the best in the world at something to be considered an expert. You only need to know slightly more than the audience about that subject or topic. Now, let's come back here and kind of recap here. So with a topic trifecta, you've got industry, you have interest, and you have integrity. Now, when you're figuring out that S, that selecting a problem to solve, where is it as a speaker that you want to be? Where is it as a speaker that you want to be? Let me know in the chat. Where is it that you want to be? You want to be there, right there in the middle. Because what happens is without all three pieces, if you have the industry and the interest, but you don't have the integrity, you're not qualified to talk about it, you would be what we call a bogus speaker. If you have the interest and the integrity, but there's no industry, meaning there's nobody that hires speakers to talk about that, you would be what we call a broke speaker. If you have the integrity and the industry, but you don't have the interest, you don't care about it, there's nobody that really cares about it, you're going to be what we call a bored speaker. You have to have all three pieces in place. Now, let me be clear. Most speakers fail because they're not clear on these three areas. Most speakers fail because they're not clear on these three areas. There's so many speakers I talk to, and they're having a tough time, and we always come back to this, selecting a problem to solve, making sure that there's an overlap between your industry, your interest, and your integrity. Now, if you are still just like, okay, I'm still trying to figure this out. Listen, inside our training program, Booked and Paid to Speak, we're going to go way more in depth on this. I want to give you a high-level view of what you need to know, but we go way more in depth on helping you get clear on the different industries, how to determine which markets pay speakers, determining if you're qualified to talk about certain topics. We're going to get into all of that inside Booked and Paid to Speak. Okay, let's come back to the speaker success roadmap here. So the second step, once you've selected a problem to solve, the second step, P, is to prepare your talk. Prepare your talk. Basically, you're preparing the solution to the problem that you just identified in the first part. Now, as it relates to this, we're really not going to dig much into this topic. We actually have a totally separate training program called The Art of Speaking, because your best marketing is delivering a great talk. So I actually teach that in Art of Speaking. In fact, stick around to the end, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you can get Art of Speaking actually for free. All right. So make sure you stick around till the end for that piece. Okay, let's dig into speaker secret number 2. If you're ready, just type in the chat, I'm ready. How we doing? You guys feeling good so far? Are you learning something? Are you starting to feel some confidence? It's important. I want you to have some knowledge, some head knowledge of some next steps that you need to take, but I also want you to feel like, okay, I know that I can do this. I know what my next steps are. Everybody feeling good? All right, keep chatting in that chat. You guys are doing good. Okay, let's keep cruising on here. So speaker secret number 2 is this. Look at your screen. You can start booking and getting paid for speaking engagements without an existing brand, a best-selling book, a blog, a podcast, social media following, name recognition, or online presence. You don't need these things. What you need, though, is you need to establish yourself. Establish yourself as the expert. Establish yourself as the expert. Now let's talk about exactly how you need to do that. Now there's 2 key marketing tools that you need here, okay? Your website and your demo video. Website and demo videos. First, let's talk about your website, okay? First of all, you have to have one. You have to have one, all right? It's really important that you have a website. If you don't have a website, you don't exist. People will not take you seriously. One of the things that we recommend is that you use your name as the domain. You have to remember that as a speaker, you are the brand. You are the product. I actually had to purchase grantbaldwin.com from a different guy named Grant Baldwin. And in fact, I've purchased the domain names for my wife and all 3 of my daughters. And I'm just squatting on those until they need them someday. And then I'm going to sell it back to them at an exorbitant rate. And I'm pretty excited about that. The other thing I would say when it comes to putting together your website is you want to put yourself in the position of the client. What would you want to see on a website that would give you comfort and confidence in booking someone? So make sure you have that website in place. Also, don't forget to stick around to the end. I'm gonna give you that free download of your speaker website checklist, plus my top 10 favorite speaker websites. So again, make sure that you stick around for that. Also, we actually have a total separate tool called the Speaker Lab WordPress website theme. It's called Podium, where it's a tool where we're going to show you exactly how, or give you a theme, a WordPress theme to actually create your website specifically for speakers, right? So you can see kind of some little overview there where you're going to have a demo video, a little quick bio, some of your topics, some testimonials, your social media links, and then a contact area down there. And so actually, if you stick around to the end, again, I'm going to mention to you how you can also get this for free. So make sure you stick around for that. Now let's talk about your demo video. Your demo video may be the most important part of your website. It's really critically important. And so the way to think about this is your demo video should be the movie trailer to your presentation. Should be the movie trailer to your presentation. So think about what a movie trailer is, right? It's 2-3 minutes or so, and it gives you a preview, an overview of what that movie is going to be about. The movie trailer is designed to make you want to see more. And that's really what you're trying to do with your demo video, is just give someone a taste of this is what it's like if they hired you to come speak. Just enough to give them a sense of this is what it's like and make them want to see more. Now, whenever it comes to your demo video, one thing I'd encourage you to do, same with your website, is to work with what you've got, do it with excellence, but improve as you go. Improve as you go, because I'll tell you what, this is a screenshot from my very first demo video. As you can see, it's dark. The lighting's bad. The audio's bad. It's a small group of about 30 people or so, and it just was not an ideal setting. But this is what I had. This worked. So work with what you've got and improve as you go. Work with what you've got and improve as you go. Now, just because you have a website and a video doesn't mean anyone cares. This is a mistake that some speakers make. It's like, all right, I got my website, I got my video. Now I just sit back and I wait for the phone to ring. Like, listen, it does not work like that. If you build it, they will not come. If you build it, they will not come. Real quick, let's name that movie. Can you name that movie? One of the best sports movies of all time. Name that movie. So just because you have a website and a demo video doesn't mean anybody cares. Like, your mom is thrilled about your website. She's going to tell both of her friends, but it doesn't mean anybody else cares. So what you need to have then is you need to have a plan. You need to have a system for then how to get people to your website and demo video. And so that's where we're going to go in the next speaker secret. All right. So before we keep cruising on here, before we get to the next one, how are you guys feeling so far? How's everybody doing? You doing well? Feeling all right? Are we scratching where you're itching? You learning something? You got some action items that you're going to be taking? All right, let's keep cruising on. Again, I told you, I know I talk fast. I know I go through slides fast. We'll give you the slides here in just a few minutes, but I want to get through a lot here in a short amount of time. I want to make sure that this is valuable and worth your time. Has this been valuable? Has it been worth your time? I know there's other things you could be doing, but I want to make sure this is helpful to you. Okay, so the A now, acquire paid speaking gigs. Now, this is the part oftentimes we want to jump to, right? This is what the goal is. I want to acquire paid speaking gigs. But do you understand why you need to have these other pieces in place before you start trying to acquire paid speaking gigs? Does this make sense? You need to be clear on what the problem is that you're solving. You got to have that topic trifecta. Be clear about the industry, the interest, the integrity. You got to have your talk. You know what the solution is that you're going to offer. You got to establish yourself as the expert. Have that website, that demo video. Then we can get to acquiring paid speaking gigs. You with me? That making sense? Don't jump to this part. Don't jump to the A. Okay. Make sure you do these things in a sequential order. Now, speaker secret number 3 is this: getting bookings is not about being salesy. It's about building relationships and offering a solution to decision makers. Not about being salesy. It's about building relationships and offering a solution to decision makers. Now, the best potential clients are those who already book speakers. Okay, this is very logical, but track with this. The best potential clients are those who already book speakers. It's much simpler to get an organization or a group to book you if they're already used to booking speakers or they're already planning on hiring a speaker. Much simpler to do that than trying to convince an organization or a group that they should hire a speaker. So because of that, the best places to start are conferences, association events, and other events that are already looking for a speaker. You don't have to convince them to have a speaker. They're already planning on doing it. You're just showing them why you are a good fit. Now, how do you find these types of events that are already looking for a speaker? Well, there's a lot of ways to go about that. One of the simplest ways that you can do it is just use Google to find opportunities. So one way you can do this is by using a keyword plus the words like conference, convention, association, group, club, or event. Okay, let me show you what this would look like. Okay, let's take knitting, for example. What you could do is you could look for like knitting conference. You search for knitting association, knitting event. You could look this up by state or region or province or territory. You could look up other speakers who talk about this as well. So let me show you exactly how this works. So I went into the Google machine here and I plugged in knitting conference that you can see up top there. Look at this. We got 888,000 results. We have a Knitters Review, a calendar of knitting events. We have the Knitting Guild Association. We have Stitches Events, Knitting Universe. We have Vogue Knitting Live, the ultimate knitting event. We have this knitting and quilting retreat. So here's a question for you. Do you think that these organizations, associations, events are looking for speakers to talk about knitting? Do you think that they are looking for speakers to talk about knitting? Yes or no? Just drop in the chat. Of course they are, right? Do you think that if you are a knitting speaker, that you would be a good fit for these events? Absolutely, right? So what we want to do is we want to build that relationship and show them why you are a good fit for their type of event. Now, once you find opportunities, the next thing you want to do is you want to contact the decision maker. You want to contact the decision maker. And email is going to be the most effective starting point for communication. Okay, we talk more in depth on the exact process that you need to take, but we will just start with email here just to begin a relationship and begin that conversation with an event planner or decision maker. Now, it's important to remember here, this is a relationship business. Do not try to seal the deal on the first date. Do not try to seal the deal on the first date. Now, oftentimes we go, all right, what do I send? How do I follow up? How does that work? One of the things we've put together here is what we call a follow-up flowchart, And basically the way this works is you start at the top here, and based on whether or not, when you send an initial email, based on whether or not they replied or what they said or what they didn't say, it just removes the guesswork. All right, so you send an email, they did reply. Okay, what did they say? Now, based on that, here's what you should say. Let's say you send an email and they don't reply. Okay, now what do I do? Do I wait? Do I follow up? How do I follow up? How long do I wait? All of that removes the guesswork. If you know how to like paint by numbers, okay, this is for you. In addition, we have 19 pages of email scripts. 19 pages of email scripts that of exactly what to say whenever you're reaching out and following up with potential clients. 19 pages. So I'm curious, would that follow-up flowchart, would those email scripts, would that be helpful to you? Would that be beneficial to you? Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if it would be. So we include both of these things inside our training program, Booked and Paid to Speak. We want to remove all of the guesswork for you. One of our students, Justin, said, if you're looking for an effective way to connect with meeting planners, get booked, use Grant's proven email system. Following his advice, I contacted one meeting planner. 2 days later, I was booked to speak at their statewide leadership conference. And so listen, we know that having this system works if you do the work, all right? So again, we include that inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, Google is the quickest way to find opportunities, but actually inside Booked and Paid to Speak, we actually teach 8 more strategies for finding speaking engagements. But any one of you could go Google right now and begin to find some potential opportunities. Okay, let's do some more movie trivia. Show me the money. Let's talk about finances. Let's talk about fees. Let's talk about that side of it, all right? So in fact, let's do some more movie trivia. Can you name this movie? Another great sports movie? Name this movie. Drop it in the chat there. Another classic. Okay, let's talk about speaking fees. Now, first of all, you can get paid on your first speaking engagement. You don't have to be the best speaker in the world to get paid, but you absolutely can get paid. Now, How much should you charge? Well, it depends. Right? There's a bunch of variables that go into it. It depends on your market. You can charge more in some markets versus others. You can charge more speaking to corporations versus nonprofits. You can charge more speaking to colleges versus churches. So it depends on your market. It depends on your experience. If you're a brand new speaker, you're typically not going to be able to charge as much as a speaker that's been doing this for a decade or more. And the other factor is your marketing materials. Let's go back to your website, your demo video. You don't need to necessarily have spent thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on these, but they need to look sharp. Whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, whether we agree with it or not, people judge books by their cover. So you want to make sure your website, your demo video are sharp. Now, having said that, the speaker fee ranges dramatically. All right. So education, college, new speakers, usually going to be somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000. Up and coming corporate speakers is going to be somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Also, the like faith-based, nonprofit, like brand new association speakers are typically going to be in that $1,000 to $5,000 range as well. Professional corporate speakers is going to be usually $10,000 to $20,000. Best-selling authors, athletes, B-list celebrities is going to be $20,000 to $50,000, and then celebrity speakers is $50,000 and way up there from there. Just ridiculous amounts of money for speaking fees. Now, if you want to know, again, how much you should charge, because, again, there's a lot of variables, make sure you stop by and check out myspeakerfee.com. Again, if you haven't already, make sure that you stop by and check that out. We're going to come back to that in just a couple of minutes. So check out myspeakerfee.com. Okay, now let's kind of recap where we're at here on the Speaker Success Roadmap. So we talked about selecting a problem to solve. We talked about then preparing your talk, preparing your solution to the problem. Talked about establishing yourself as the expert with your website, your demo video. Talked about acquiring paid speaking gigs, about you can use Google and then begin an email and then a follow-up process with them. And now the last part, K, is know when to scale. You're booking gigs. Now you want to continue to build your business in other ways. So generating revenue and impact as a speaker isn't limited to just speaking from stage. There's a lot of ways that you can continue to build your business. In fact, let me give you 10 ways that you can build your business beyond just a speaking fee. So you may have a book, curriculum, product, coaching, consulting, webinars, online training course, train the trainer, advertisement, sponsorships, referrals. All 10 of these are ways that I have personally used speaking to build revenue in other ways in my business. So I'm curious, drop in the chat maybe a number. Which one of these most interests or resonates with you? Which one of these 10, just give me a number 1 through 10, which one of these, or maybe a couple numbers, which one of these most resonates with you and where you're at? Which one of these would be most appealing to you? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. All right, let's recap with where we're at right now. So first of all, number 1, we talked about identify a problem that you could speak on. We talked about industry, interest, integrity. Then we talked about number 2, position yourself as the expert, creating your website, your demo video. Number 3, you talked about identifying existing events that book speakers. And then number 4, contacting decision makers. And then finally, build, grow, scale your speaking empire. All right. We have covered a lot of stuff. We still got more stuff to cover. Now, how many of you feel like this right now? How many of you say that this describes you? You just feel like you are just getting sprayed in the face. Like I said at the beginning, I warn you, I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to go through slides fast. How many of you say that that describes you right now? If that describes you, just type in the chat. That's me. That's me. Now, like I mentioned to you, I promised we had a couple different bonuses for you. So let me drop this link in the chat for you. You can go to thespeakerlab.com/BPS download. Again, that's thespeakerlab.com/BPS download to get that How to Create a Killer Talk bonus training, your speaker website checklist, plus 10 of the top speaker websites, plus a link to today's slide. So make sure you check that out. Now, here's another question for you. Has this been worth your time so far? Has this been worth your time so far? So just give me a yes in the chat, because again, I know you're busy. I know you have a lot going on. Has this been worth your time so far? Here's another question for you. What has been your light bulb moment so far? What's been your light bulb moment so far? What was something where you're just like, oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, that clicked. It made sense. You just had one of those aha moments. You had one of those aha moments. What has been your light bulb moment so far? Whatever that is for you, drop that in the chat. What has been your light bulb moment so far? Let me ask you a couple questions. If you followed what I showed you in Secret 1, and you were really clear on that topic trifecta, who you could speak to, what problem you could solve, And then you did what I showed you in speaker secret number 2, and you had your marketing assets in place, and you had your website, your demo video, and then you did what we discussed in speaker secret number 3, and you built a repeatable system to find and book gigs. Do you think that you could be successful as a speaker? Do you feel like if you did everything we showed you today, if you applied that and implemented that, if you took action on that, do you feel like you could be successful as a speaker? So just give me a yes in the chat. If you feel like you could follow this, you could do this, give me a yes in the chat. Here's another question. Can you do this? Like I said earlier, it's important to me that we give you the step-by-step plan, that we give you the step-by-step strategy of what you need to do. But I also want to give you the confidence that you can do this, that you can make this happen, that your message deserves to be shared, not only for the people that need to hear what you have to say, but also for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your spouse, for your life. Can you do this? Can you do this? Are you going to do this? Now, we've covered a lot, but the reality is there's so much left to learn. Like, we haven't even talked about how you prepare a memorable message that resonates, or presentation skills when you should and shouldn't use technology. We haven't talked about how to network with other speakers, or what do you do after you get booked. We haven't talked about travel, like who pays for that? Do I pay for that? Do they pay for that? How does that work? We haven't talked about how to transition into a full-time speaking career, or creating and selling product, or working with speaker bureaus, or any of those things. Like, there's just so much we haven't even talked about. So if you liked what I gave you for free today, you're going to love the rest of the training. This, my friends, is why we created Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning, if I delivered on my promise of giving you a step-by-step plan and giving you a step-by-step system, then I wanted you to at least listen and hear me out on this very special offer that I have. So is it okay with you if I spend a few minutes just going over this special offer that I created to help you book gigs faster? Is that okay? If so, just give me a yes in the chat. If that's all right, if you're good with that, just give me a yes in the chat. All right, cool. So ultimately, here's the deal. Booked and Paid to Speak is a complete A to Z blueprint for creating a system in your speaking business that gets you booked, period. It's exactly what this is about. So here's what you're going to get. First of all, you're going to get a step-by-step video training program. Step-by-step video training program that's going to walk you through exactly what you need to know to find and book paid speaking engagement. So what exactly does this teach? Well, let's go back to the Speaker Success Roadmap, okay? We've scratched the surface. I've given you this that you need to know, but now you can actually go in and implement it and apply it. So this is exactly what you need to know. What exactly will I learn from this? Well, number one, you're going to learn how to get clear on which industry that you should speak to. We're going to know which topics clients and event planners are hiring speakers for. We're going to talk about the speaking industry matrix, which industries pay the most versus easiest to break into. We're going to talk about how to create and structure your presentation. We're going to talk about how to deliver a great talk that generates repeat and referral business. We're going to talk about resources for creating your website and demo video and establishing your online brand. We're going to talk about how to price yourself as a speaker and how and when to negotiate to earn more. Plus, a look at my own speaker fee structures. We're going to talk about how to sell yourself to a client, even if you hate selling. We're going to talk about how to find more speaking opportunities that are right for you. How many of you would say that this is what you're looking for? Is this what you're looking for? Would this help you? Would this be beneficial for you? And again, going deeper and helping you to book gigs faster. We're also going to talk about what to do after you get booked to create a great experience for the client so they want to refer you and work with you again. Talk about dealing with finances and taxes and business structures as a speaker, and listen in on an actual sales call recording to learn how to build rapport with a client, what questions to ask, how to talk fees, and how to close the deal. Talk about how and when to hire staff, travel tips and strategies for speakers, how to transition to being a full-time speaker, and then also how to work with speaker bureaus and whether or not you even should do that. So all of this is what we're going to dig into inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. Plus, you're going to have lifetime access to all of the training materials. So that way you can go as fast or as slow as you want, whenever you want. You're going at your own pace. You have all the resources are downloadable, PDFs, videos, MP3s, and then just quality support. We want to make sure that you are successful as a speaker. Now, in addition, you're also going to get the Booked and Paid to Speak community. This is a private discussion group with actually 1,000 different speakers, over 1,000 speakers that are part of this private discussion group where people are asking questions, answering questions, providing feedback, support, sharing wins, getting feedback on websites and videos. We're also going to do a monthly live Q&A call every single month where we're answering your questions live. Plus, you can go back and listen to literally like well over a year worth of the archives. Plus, give opportunities with those 1,000 speakers that you can network with other speakers and potentially get other gigs just from that group. So, for example, one of our students, Kendra, said this. I said, I was asked to keynote an event in Dallas, Texas in March. Best part is the person hosting is in this community. Thanks, Andrea, for the opportunity. A great partnership. So we've had speakers who book gigs just from this Facebook group. So a lot of value and opportunity there. So here's what you're going to get. You're going to get the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, but then also that private discussion group and Q&A calls. Now, I'm assuming that you guys like bonuses, right? Do you like bonuses? Just give me a yes if you do. Throw a yes in the chat. So I've got several bonuses I want to throw in here, okay? So the first bonus here we want to give you unlimited email consulting with myself and our coaches. So if you get stuck, you have a question, you can email us directly. You have literally speakers that are on standby waiting to answer and help out. So if you're like, hey, I don't know how much to charge for this event, or I emailed a client and they replied with this, what do I say? Or any of that type of stuff that you run into, here's my topic. Can I get some feedback on that? How does this talk title sound? We're going to give you feedback on all of that. You've got unlimited email consulting with us. We're also going to give you the email scripts, contracts, checklists. We call it the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault. So remember the follow-up flow chart, the email scripts. We're going to give those to you inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. Every document that we use that's going to help you book more business, stay more organized, eliminate stress, we will include that inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. So our email scripts for reaching out to potential clients, that follow-up flow chart, our speaking agreement. A lot of people are like, I don't have a contract. I don't know what should go in it. We're just going to give you ours. All right. So you just use our contract. We have an event information form, a speaking writer that we send to clients when we get booked. We're going to give that to you as well. An event checklist of what we do before, during, and after an event. So you provide a great experience for that client. We're going to give all that to you. All right. Plus a lot more. So again, that follow-up flow chart, those email scripts, remember, those was what you were looking for, right? So we're going to include all of that inside of Booked and Paid to Speak, those 19 pages of email scripts. We will tell you exactly what to say. We want to remove all of the guesswork and make this super, super simple for you. Third bonus we're going to give you is 12 advanced training modules. So we want to help you in that being able to know when to scale. So we have 12 advanced training modules and interviews with industry experts to show you how to create an online course, write and publish your first book, build an email list, some advanced strategies for booking speaking gigs. All of those interviews are going to be in here. And then finally, we're going to have 12 speaker success stories. So 12 interviews we've done with from new and veteran speakers, how they got started, how they find gigs, how they're building their business so that you can model and learn from what's working for them. So here's what you're going to get, kind of a recap here. The Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, 3 months of private discussion group and Q&A calls, the unlimited email consulting. You're going to get the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault. That's all those emails, contracts, checklists, 12 advanced training modules, and 12 speaker success stories. Does this look like it would be valuable to you? I mean, we brainstormed and racked our brains for everything you could possibly need to find and book speaking engagements. So talk to me in the chat. Would this be helpful for you? Is this what you're looking for? Plus, I've got some more fast action bonuses that I want to throw in here. Right now, we're at nearly $11,000 in value, but we want to give you, again, everything you could possibly need. So here's what we want to do. We want to reward people who are taking action. So we have some additional fast action bonuses. This is only for people who join while we are on this training. All right. So this first bonus is this. We're going to give you a 15-minute one-on-one video coaching call. All right, 15-minute one-on-one video coaching call. We don't do our team doesn't do any one-on-one coaching outside of this. All right, so if you are looking for help and support and just to dig in and have a coaching call, that's what this is. Again, this is only for people who join while we are on this training before the webinar ends. The other thing that I mentioned earlier is that your best marketing is a great talk. So we want to help you out there. I mentioned to you, we have that separate training program, Art of Speaking. If you join Booked and Paid to Speak while we're here on the training, we're going to give you Art of Speaking as well. We're going to give it to you as a bonus. Now we offer this on our site right now for around $400 or so, but we're going to include this for free for you for those who join Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, what exactly will I learn from Art of Speaking? Well, we're going to talk about Module 1, creating your talk, the differences between keynotes, workshops, and seminars, how to find the clear objective for your message, how to organize and structure your talk, how to write, craft, and deliver a compelling story, how to use humor even if you don't think you're funny. We're going to dig into all of that inside of this first piece. We're going to talk about how to develop a process to learn your material so you feel comfortable and confident. In the second module, we're going to talk about delivering your talk, how to deal with nerves and stage fright, what you should do and look for before you take the stage, how to create a rhythm to your talk so you don't bore people. We're going to talk about dealing with all things technology, slides, microphones. What do you do when things go wrong? And then how to package and promote your product from the stage. In the third module, we're going to talk about connecting with the audience, how to interact with an audience, keep them engaged, how to deal with tough and uninterested audiences, why the environment can make or break you, how to set yourself up for success. And then finally, in the fourth module, we're going to talk about everything else. We're going to talk about what you should wear, what you should not wear. We're going to talk about why your introduction matters and how to create it, how and when to use props, when using handouts makes sense, how to conduct audience Q&A without losing control of the room, and then what do you do if your talk bombs? So all of this is included inside of Art of Speaking. We're also going to give you what we call a director's cut behind the scenes video of my personal keynote. So what we have here is we've got me presenting a keynote, and then we're going to do kind of some voiceover, kind of explaining how I put the talk together, how I'm doing stories, how I'm using humor, how I'm making transitions, intros, outros, all of that you're going to see kind of inside my head of how this talk is being presented. You get that with Art of Speaking as well. I'm going to give you my talk manuscripts. I'm going to walk through exactly how I put these talks together. So you're going to have these manuscripts that you can look at. Plus, we're going to give you a talk creation worksheet template. So you know exactly how to create your talk. So if you're just like staring at a blank screen and you're like, I have no idea what to do now, we're going to walk through with this talk creation worksheet of exactly how to create your talk. Now, I don't want you to just take my word from it. I want you to hear from some of you may be familiar with Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income. How many of you have heard of Pat? You're familiar with Pat? Maybe you listen to his podcast or read his blog. If you're familiar with Pat, just give me a yes in the chat. We've worked with Pat on his presentation and speaking, and let me share with you what he had to say about that.
Hey, what's up? This is Pat Flynn from SmartPassiveIncome.com. I'm excited to shoot this video just to tell you really quick about how Grant helped me in my speaking career. I mean, I can remember various moments where he's given me a lot of great advice, but one in particular was right before a very challenging keynote sort of presentation I was going to make, and I had to tell this story, and I wasn't quite sure how to frame it. And actually, Grant pulled me aside, being as helpful as he always is. He goes, "Hey, Pat, like, why don't we just chill in my hotel room for a little bit? You can present it to me. I can walk you through some of what I would do to improve it." And we did that. It was honestly some of the best advice I'd gotten. And then I nailed the presentation literally just a couple hours after that. And so I'm very thankful for Grant. And that's just one of the many moments that he's offered to help with a lot of my speaking career. And I'm just excited because, you know, I know he does this for a living. He helps others learn how to present well. And I know he's not just all talk because A, he's helped me, but I've also seen him on stage many times and he just crushes it. And I'm so thankful that he can help others do the same because I know how important and how powerful speaking can be, but also it's an art and it's a challenge. But Grant can be there to support you through that like he supported me. So check him out if you haven't already. And Grant, thanks for all your help, man. I appreciate it.
All right, so pretty cool kind words from Pat there. So the third bonus that we're going to provide here, again, this is only for those that join while we're on this training. We're going to give you a website and demo video review, all right? Website, demo video review. So our team will go through your website and you can have it reviewed with specific improvements that you can make in order to help increase your bookings. And then we're going to throw in one more bonus. For those that pay in full today, one more bonus that we're going to give you is I mentioned to you our WordPress theme, that website template for creating your website. We offer it on our website for $197. But again, for those that join now and pay in full before the webinar ends, you're going to get this template for free. All right, we're going to give this to you for free so that you can have a tool that you need to create your website, to get your website up and running, and ultimately to help you get booked quicker. So again, we wanted to throw in a ton of different things there to make sure that this is an absolute no-brainer for you. Make sure that this is you are set up for success. Now, we talked about this earlier. Did you get your speaker fee at myspeakerfee.com? If you did, go ahead and post in the chat how much that was for you. Did you get that? post in the chat how much that was for you. If you didn't, you can go over there real quick if you want to, myspeakerfee.com. Post in the chat how much that was for you. For many of you, maybe it's $1,000. Maybe many of you, it's over $1,000, several $1,000s. I see a lot of answers coming in right now, ranging from all different amounts, right? All different amounts here of what is possible as a speaker. Again, this is not just a random arbitrary number. It's the number that you came up with based on your answers and based on where you are at in your career. So here's what's great about speaking is that other investments literally take years to earn your money back. But with Booked and Paid to Speak, you can earn it back on 1 gig. On 1 gig, it's absolutely possible. Tom said, big win. I purchased Grant's Booked and Paid to Speak Master Program 1 month ago. Just booked my first state conference gig just now for 2.5 times what I paid for Grant's program. Thanks, Grant. Your program is a no-brainer for anyone who wants to get paid to speak. Right? Look at that, 1 gig, and he got back 2.5 times what he invested in the program. Thomas said, it's like you sat down, made a video course answering every question I ever had about speaking. Just booked my first gig for $2,800. $2,800 for 1 gig, right? That's right in line with a lot of the answers that you guys are giving in the chat right now. So here's what you're going to get. Again, the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, the private discussion group, the Q&A calls, the 3 months of unlimited email consulting, the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault, the 12 advanced training modules, 12 speaker success stories, the one-on-one coaching call, the Art of Speaking training program, the website demo video review, and then again, for those that pay in full, the WordPress theme website template. Total value there is over $12,000. Now, based on that and what we have in here, and based on what you guys have all said in the chat of what you could charge as a speaker, $5,000 for this would be a steal. It would be an absolute no-brainer because, again, of how much is in here and how quickly you can get a return on that investment. But check this out. We're not even going to do it for $5,000. Now, even at $3,000, I think this would be a huge win. Now, in fact, if you go on our website right now, you can actually find Booked and Paid to Speak for $14.97. It's listed right here, $14.97 on our website. But check this out. Here's what we're going to do. While we are on this training, we are going to knock off an additional $500 so you can join Booked and Paid to Speak for only $9.97. Booked and Paid to Speak for only $9.97. Again, we wanted to make this an absolute no-brainer for you so that you can get in there, start booking gigs, and start taking action in your speaking business. So I'm going to put a link up there on the side that you can click, or you can actually go to thespeakerlab.com, thespeakerlab.com/yes. And we also have a payment plan here where you can do, if you're just like, hey, I would like to break it up, that's totally fine. You can do $197 a month for just 6 months. $197 a month for just 6 months. So as soon as you make that first $197 payment, then you actually get everything inside of the course. So if you're ready to join, you can click on the side there, or you can go to thespeakerlab.com/yes. Again, that's thespeakerlab.com/yes to get those bonuses. Now, who has this worked for? Okay, maybe for some of you, you're like, all right, I'm intrigued, I'm interested, but is this going to work for me? Okay, totally fair question. If you're someone who, for people who want to become a speaker, but you have no clue where to start or how to do it, this is for you. We have a lot of people who are in that spot of going, I'm interested, no idea what to do now, no idea where to begin. Okay, this is for you. If you're a speaker who's struggling with running a profitable business, but you love the art of it, and you're just like, I just don't know what I don't know on the business side, we want to help you with that. Okay, Booked and Paid to Speak is right for you. Who else does this work for? If you're a seasoned veteran in the industry, but you just lack systems, you desire strategy, you want to streamline your business, okay, this is for you. This is for you. Now, let me give you some examples of students that we have worked with who have taken exactly what we've shown you today and applied it to their business and the impact that it has made for them. Okay, so for example, let me introduce you to Eric. Now, Eric joined our program a couple of years ago, and look at this. He started dabbling with speaking in 2015. He got serious in 2016. He booked 21 gigs for $23,000. 2017, he did 54 gigs for multiple 6 figures in revenue. He has booked gigs over a year in advance. He did all of this. This is my favorite part, while being married, raising 3 kids, and working a full-time job. He did all of this while being married, raising 3 kids, and working a full-time job. Eric's got his hands full, but he took exactly what we've shown you today, and he has applied it to his business and have seen huge, huge results. He said, "Hey, Grant, I booked $20,000 worth of speaking gigs the past 2 days. The floodgates are wide open." $20,000 worth of speaking gigs within 2 days. Let me share with you what Eric.
Hi, my name is Eric Ream, and I am a professional public speaker. I started this journey back in 2014 on my own when I decided to see whether or not this would work for me. So on top of doing a full-time job, by the end of 2014, I earned about $5,000. I continued to try it out and try to figure out different ways of being a professional speaker in 2015. And by the end of that year, I earned about $9,000 on top of a full-time job. But it was in December of 2015 that was a game changer for me. You see, I learned about Grant Baldwin and his program, Booked and Paid to Speak. I consumed that course. I purchased a course, went through it in December of 2015. I applied what I learned in 2016, and by the end of the year, I earned $35,000. I had huge momentum at that point, using what I learned from Grant and from his system. And in 2017, I continued to apply what I learned in the course, and I'm happy to report, I just did my taxes, I'm happy to report that I had 53 paid speaking gigs and earned $150,000 as a professional speaker on top of a full-time job using Grant Baldwin's system for public speaking. Now, folks, this is what $150,000 in checks looks like. It's fantastic. Now, using Grant's system, I continue to use it. So far this year, I have 23 gigs already booked. I even have a gig booked in 2019, and I'm projected to earn about $200,000 this year in 2018. And I'm happy to say I'm in the process of transitioning into being a full-time public speaker working on my own because of the Booked and Paid to Speak system. So whether you want to be a full-time speaker or a part-time speaker, or maybe you just want to see if this works for you, I highly recommend you check this course out. And what you're going to learn is all the ins and outs of how to run a speaking business, how to get gigs, how to follow up, the email process, the contracts, all the things that helped me get to where I'm at right now, and I continue to learn. Grant's system is fantastic. So I hope you check it out, and when you do, you'll plug into the Booked and Paid to Speak community and hang out with speakers like myself, and we can help each other, we can learn from each other, and I look forward to seeing you there and seeing you out on the speaker trail. Again, my name is Eric Ream. I am a professional public speaker because of the Booked and Paid to Speak system. Thank you, Grant Baldwin, and I'll see you guys out there on the trail.
All right, so some pretty cool words and kind words from Eric there. And again, Eric's the guy who's taken action and has seen the results. Now, let me share with you another one. Okay, let me share with you the story of Melanie. Now, Melanie had a successful corporate job with Time that she left. She's booked gigs in London, New Zealand, Germany, Argentina, Vienna, Sweden, and Bulgaria. She shared the stage with speakers like Gary Vaynerchuk, Seth Godin, and Jay Baer. She spoke at nearly 100 events in less than 3 years. And she uses speaking as a tool to build other parts of her business. So she does a lot of consulting, writing, and teaching. And so she's built a really significant business that she's done largely from speaking. She says this: I followed Grant's advice from the course, built a relationship with a company that does conferences in several markets. After doing 5 events for them, breakout sessions for 200 to 400 people in their smaller rooms, just found out they put me on the main stage this time, 2,750 seat theater tomorrow. That's a pretty legit theater, right? How many of you would like to speak in that room? That'd be a great room to speak in. So this landed in New Zealand, right in time for sunrise for a corporate event. Things like this make all the travel even more worth it. Hope you all have wonderful adventures coming to you soon too. So again, Melanie is someone who took action on what we showed and has seen significant results. So again, don't just take my word for it. Let me let you hear directly from Melanie.
My name is Melanie Diesel. I'm a professional speaker and an advertising consultant. I got my start speaking when I was still working a corporate job. I was working in a media company, and my job was to go out and talk about the work that my team was doing. Over time, I realized I might have liked that a little more than my regular job. So I looked into the possibility of opening up my own shop and becoming a public speaker. I didn't really realize until that point that people were doing this professionally, and I saw the opportunity for myself. I signed up for Grant Baldwin's program, Booked and Paid to Speak. and learned all about how to do outreach, how to convince event organizers that I and my message were worth bringing into their conference and their events. My first year out on my own, I did more than 50 gigs and I traveled 100,000 plus miles. I got to speak in 5 different countries and bring my message about brand storytelling to tens of thousands of marketers across the globe. But here's the thing, I didn't do anything that you can't do. I signed up for the course and I learned how to do this, how to make it a business, how to be serious about the way that I present myself, about positioning myself as a speaker, how to reach out and connect with decision makers and convince them that my message and your message could be worth bringing in for their audience. If you're at all interested in becoming a public speaker and making public speaking part of your business, then this is something you need to do too. Sign up for the course and come join us. And so you know, I believe in what we're doing so much that I've come back and I now work as a coach with Booked and Paid to Speak. So I'm able to use my experience, having gone through the course and now working as a professional speaker, to give back to the community, to help others follow the same process and build up their own business to become a public speaker. So I hope that I'll see you in the course soon.
So that's right. If you understood that from Melanie, that not only has she gone through the program, now she works as a coach and works with speakers like you in helping you find and book speaking engagements. Let me share with you one more story. This is with Sue. She said, last week I was invited to a vet conference in Ontario next January. They offered her $1,500. I scheduled a call, listened to her, learned about the meeting, then told her my fee was higher. Committee today approved $3,500. Look at that, $2,000 more because of what she learned inside the program and learning how to find and book gigs. Full day of speaking, but I'm so excited. First time I've negotiated one of the vet conferences. Thank you. I'm learning so much. And then this is one of my favorite pictures. She shared this with me. She said, I just wrapped up 4 lectures for a veterinary conference in Maui. You can see in the profile picture in the upper left corner there, her husband, she's got 2 boys. And so for Sue, they were able to take a dream trip to Maui that they'd always wanted to take as a family. And they were able to do that because of speaking, because of what speaking was able to provide for them. So every one of these speakers would tell you that if they can do this, that you can do this as well. They are nothing special. They have no special qualifications. They're not celebrities in any way. They are normal people just like you. Now, if all of this course did was to help you book 1 speaking gig every month, would that be worth it to you? If all it did was help you create systems so that you had 1 free day each week, would that be worth it to you? If all it did was to give you the ability to raise your prices to reach your goals, would that be worth it to you? If it allowed you to have more work-life balance, would that be worth it to you? If you can say it would be worth it to you for any of these things, just give me a yes in the chat. If this course helped you to do any of these 4 things, book a speaking gig every month, create systems so you had 1 free day each week, give you the ability to raise your prices to reach your goals, or to allow you to have more work-life balance, would that be worth it? If so, just give me a yes in the chat. So at this point, you have a choice. You have a choice to make. Option 1 is that you can spend countless frustrating hours like I did, trying to make sense of it all, stumbling your way through, and maybe one day it all comes together. Maybe, possibly. Or what you can do is you can take the fast track. Get step-by-step help from professional speaker mentors who have been where you are trying to go. You can take the fast track by joining Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, how do you join? Again, you can go to thespeakerlab.com/yes, or you can click the link on the side there. We have a lot of you who have already joined, so welcome to all of you. Looking forward to connecting with you inside of the program. So once you click that link, you're going to be taken to a page that looks just like this. Now, also at the bottom there, there's going to be the option to also get the Speaker Lab Summit. This is a series of 40 interviews and masterclasses that we did with all kinds of professional speakers. So speakers like Andy Andrews, Pat Flynn, John Acuff, Kerry Wilkerson, Bob Berg, John Jantz, Michael and Amy Port, Dan Miller, Jeff Goins, John Lee Dumas, Chandler Bolt, Chris Ducker, Hal Elrod, 30 more speakers that are included. So we did interviews with all of them. So you can add this to your order if you would like in your registration. Now, what if I could take all the risk away for you? Okay. So here's my guarantee to you. My guarantee is that you take the course for 60 days. 60 days, do the work, give an honest effort. And if you don't see the results, then I'll give you your money back. All right. We know this works if you do the work. Now, let's take it a step further. Okay. We're going to give you what we call a double your investment guarantee. So if you follow the system that we teach, you don't at least double your investment within 1 year, we will give you your investment back. Again, we know this works if you do the work. So you got a full year. If you don't at least double your investment, we'll give you your investment back. So again, like we talked about, you have the potential. Now you need the plan. You have the potential. Now you need the plan. What kind of speaker are you going to be? Are you going to be a dabbler, or are you going to be an action taker? Are you going to keep kicking tires, wondering if you have what it takes, or are you finally going to take action? Michael said, hey, from Birmingham, got in on the course after the webinar, and I've been following the podcast for a while. I'm so glad I invested in this course. Just dove in, and it's awesome so far. Looking forward to growing and finding my voice with y'all, and hopefully I can help many of you along the way. Andrew said, emailed 38 inquiries since beginning, booked 2 engagements, which will pay $2,000 per event, paid for my booked and paid to speak investment. First 2 gigs using this system. And then Christopher said, boom, booked in for a Mexico sales conference, sold 200 books for the event. Thanks, Grant. The course is paying off huge. My mindset, confidence, and attitude are exploding. So this could be you. This should be you up there on stage. Again, there are people that need your message. All right. So are you ready for some Q&A? I want to get to some questions here. So if you've got questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. I know some of you were asking for just kind of a recap. So here is that recap with all of the bonuses, with everything that we've included and everything you're going to get. So again, you're going to get the booked and paid to speak video training program. You're going to get the 3 months of private discussion group and Q&A calls. You're going to get the unlimited email consulting. So that way, again, if you've got questions, you need feedback or support in any way, that's what you're going to get there. You have direct access to us. You're going to get the booked and paid to speak vault. Again, that's those email scripts, contracts, checklists, every document we use in our business. We are going to be providing those to you. Remember the email scripts. Remember that follow-up flow chart. Remember our speaking contract. We're going to give you all of those things so you have exactly what you need when booking gigs. The 12 advanced training modules to help you with if you want to write a book, if you want to do an online course, if you want to build an email list, all of that's going to be included there as well. The 12 speaker success stories. So this is, again, interviews with 12 different speakers about how they've been successful, that you can hear from them, learn from them of what works and how you can model what's worked for them. And then again, these next 4 are these 4 fast action bonuses that are only for people who join while we're on this training. So as soon as we're done here in just a couple of minutes, these 4 bonuses will be going away. All right. So 4 bonuses here, these fast action bonuses. Number 1 is for the one-on-one coaching call. One-on-one coaching call. This is again, only for people who join while we are on this training. We're going to give you a one-on-one coaching call. We're going to give you Art of Speaking training program. So like I mentioned, booked and paid to speak is more about how to build and grow your speaking business, about how to find and book speaking gigs. Art of Speaking is about creating and delivering a great talk. So we're going to provide Art of Speaking to you, again, for those that join while we are on the training. Third bonus there is the website demo video review. So we will go through your website, your video, and give you specific feedback and ideas of things that you can do to improve, to continue to get more bookings. And then finally, again, for those that pay in full, we're going to give you our WordPress theme, our website template called Podium. This is going to help you create your website quicker and give you a template that you can follow to get exactly what you need on your website. So again, you can start booking gigs quicker. So total value there is over $12,000. Again, this is normally $14.97 on our site. We knocked off $500 while we're on this training. So you can get it for $9.97, or again, you can do the payment plan of just $197 a month for just 6 months. So I know looking at the training here, we have a lot of people who joined the payment plan. So you can certainly do that if you'd like. And you can get in on those different bonuses. So again, you've got those 2 guarantees on the side there. You got the 60-day guarantee, or do the work and give an honest effort. And if you don't see results, we'll give you your money back. And then you also have the double your investment guarantee, where again, we know this works if you do the work. So if you have a full year, if you go through it and still don't see results and don't at least double your investment, we will refund your investment. Like I said, this works if you do the work. So all you got to do is go to thespeakerlab.com/yes, thespeakerlab.com/yes, or you can click the link on the side there. All right. So lots of great questions that have started coming in here. Let's start to get to some of these questions. Question here, is paying monthly paid in full? It is not. So if you're talking about that 4th fast action bonus there, that's only if you pay the $997. So if you do the $197, you do not get this 4th fast action bonus. All right. So the pay in full, the WordPress theme, website template is only for those that pay the $997. That's just a one-time investment there. All right. A good question from Brett, who asked, why your program over the others? Good question, Brett. There's several programs out there, and I would say this without knowing if there's any one particular one that you're talking about. There's a lot of programs out there of people who have booked like a couple of gigs and like, okay, I did it once or twice, and they're kind of like this overnight expert. I can say for me, I've done literally hundreds and hundreds of speaking gigs over a decade of industry experience. And so we know exactly what this works, not just for myself, but literally for the thousands of students that we've worked with. And so I know like our results speak for themselves when we, and not just, again, my own results, but when you look at someone like Melanie or Sue or Pat or Eric, or these people that we've worked with that have seen results in their business, this works if you do the work. The other thing I would say, Brett Minson already signed up. Welcome, Brett. We're glad that you joined us, man. The other thing I would say is that I know that from talking with others that a lot of them don't get the access that you're going to get with us. So what happens when you're going through the program and you get stuck, and meaning you got a question, and hey, I'm not sure what to do about this. Most of the time you're just on your own. You're kind of isolated. You're doing your own thing. But one of the things that we want to provide is we want to provide that ongoing feedback and ongoing support through that private Facebook group. Where again, we have over 1,000 speakers that are in that group that are providing feedback and support to you that can help you. So again, you're not on an island. You're not doing this alone. We want to walk through this journey with you. And so you've got that to help you out as well. Good questions. All right. What else? What other questions? Go ahead and drop those in the chat. We want to get to as many of those as possible. A lot of you continue to join. So again, welcome to all of you. I know that the timer has struck 0, but we're going to continue to go here for another couple of minutes. We want to make sure if you are finishing your registration that you have an opportunity to get in on these fast action bonuses that you don't miss out on. Okay, let me ask you this. For those of you that are still hanging out here, I can see, looks like there's still quite a few people joining us. Still a lot of people here. And I know for many of you, maybe for you, you're here because you're on the fence. You're intrigued, you're interested, you want to take action, you're right there and just wondering, maybe you just have some type of doubt, some type of concern, some type of worry. That's okay. That's totally understandable. That's reasonable. So let me ask you this. If you feel like you're on the fence, would you just type that in the chat? Just type in on the fence. Maybe even just type in fence. If you feel like you're on the fence, just drop that in the chat right now. And if you feel like you're on the fence, let's take it a step further. Would you mind sharing why you're on the fence? What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? What are you hesitant about? Just type in on the fence. What are several of you mentioning that you're on the fence? What are the questions? What are the concerns? What are the doubts that you have? Because here would be my challenge. My challenge to you would be that you get off the fence. That you get off the fence, that you make a decision one way or the other. So if you're in, then be in, jump in, stop wondering if you have what it takes. You have the potential and now you need the plan. But if you're out, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. You can take everything we've shown you. You can go take action on it. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to leave having not made a decision. I want you to make a decision. Now, I know some of you mentioned finances. Totally get that. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So maybe some of you are like, all right, Grant, I'm interested. What if I don't have the money? Okay, totally get that. Totally fair. Okay, I want you to think about the difference between spending money and investing money. Spending money and investing money. When you spend money, there's no ROI. There's no return on that investment. That money is gone. So when you buy furniture, when you buy clothes, when you buy a new car, when you buy vacations, nothing wrong with those things, right? Nothing wrong with those things, but you're not getting anything back for that. True? Would you agree? If you agree, just type in the chat. I agree. No ROI when you spend money. However, when you invest money, there is an ROI. There is a return on that investment. You get that money back plus more. When you invest in real estate, in retirement, in education, and knowledge and training that you apply, you get that money back plus more. And I don't know about you, I like to invest in things where I get a return on that investment. And so that's exactly what we've put together here with Booked and Paid to Speak. Okay, this is not just some type of cost where you're never going to see anything. If you do the work, then you will see a return on that investment. Like we showed you several people earlier who said, I took the course, I booked 1 gig, I got 2.5 times, I got 3 times, I got 4 times what I invested on 1 gig. If you knew that like by doing the work, you could book 1 gig and more than double your investment, why wouldn't you do that? That's a total no-brainer. That's absolute huge win for you. And so that's what we've put together here with Booked and Paid to Speak. You take the action on it. And when you take the action on it, when you invest money, then you get that money back plus more because of the work that you put in, because of the of applying it. Remember the video that I showed you, Eric? Remember when he held up those checks? $150,000. He invested $1,000 for this training program, and his return was $150,000. $150,000 for a $1,000 investment. Again, he invested that and then got more back, significantly more back as a result of that. One of my favorite quotes is this: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Again, how long are you going to wonder if you have what it takes? At some point, you have to take action. You have to take action. Rima says, thanks so much, Grant. Really, all of this is because the guidance you gave us during the course. For the past 3 months, I've been sifting through every article on the internet, like shooting an arrow in the dark to find out how I can get my foot in the door. Maybe that describes you. You've just been like, I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm just shooting into the night, trying to figure this out. And now you're like, I'm ready to take action. She said, thanks to you and your wonderful course, I found my way. Now I can even see the results. That's what you're here for, right? You're here to see results. And Rima said, I was lost, wandering my way through the night, and now I have found the results. Bethany said, I've learned more during one module of Grant's course than I have after booking my own speaking engagements for the past 3 years. TJ said, your email process greatly helped me. I booked 2 gigs, have a possible third, and being paid $3,500 and $700 for those 2. Gail said, since joining the course 2 months ago, I booked 3 engagements totaling $1,750. And then she said, yikes, quit my corporate job after 32 years to coach, speak, and write full-time, 5 years of speaking and coaching occasionally. Now it's time to take it to the next level. I'm full of excitement and fear. Have to give it a shot. No regrets. Michael said, Grant's knowledge about the speaking industry is unmatched. His coaching has more than paid for itself within 2 months. So again, here's that recap of everything you're going to get. Again, I know that that sometimes it feels like, oh man, I don't know that I have the money. But when you invest money and you do the work and you get that return, it can be a huge, significant return for you. Again, if you do the work. All right, what else? What other questions do you have? Again, go ahead and drop those in the chat. I know someone else mentioned the timing, right? You're busy. You have a lot going on. Totally get that. Totally understand that. One thing I'd remind you of is remember, you do have lifetime access. You have lifetime access to everything we showed you. So we've had several people who maybe they go through part of it and then, life happens and they got to come back in a couple of months or something. That's totally fine. We actually had someone who emailed us the other day who joined the program a couple of years ago. And then, life happened, life got in the way. And they're like, all right, I'm ready to jump back in and take action in my speaking business. What's my login? We gave them their login, they jump back in. And so you can absolutely do that. So we've been around for years. We're not going anywhere. We've helped thousands of people. We want to help you as well. So remember, you've got lifetime access. You can go through this at your own pace. We're not rushing you through anything. And so we'd encourage you to go through it at the pace that makes sense for you. All right, we have a lot of people continually joining while we're hanging out here. I know, once again, I know it says that the offer will end soon, but we still have a few minutes. We're going to hang out here and make these fast action bonuses available. Like I said, when we leave here in just a second, these fast action bonuses will be disappearing. So I don't want you to miss out on those. What else? What other questions do you have? What are your concerns? What are your doubts? For those, again, that are on the fence, what are you worried about? What are you concerned about? What can we help with? What will make this a win for you? What will make this a no-brainer for you? I know earlier someone was asking a question about a demo video, and could you use like a vlog or some type of a video like that? It's really not ideal for a demo video because you want to remember that if you're doing, let's say, an interview or a podcast interview or a vlog or something, it's a really different context than if you're speaking to an audience. So you really want to have footage of you actually speaking. Now, this also creates the question of what do you do in the situation where you don't have any footage and it's kind of that chicken egg situation. I need footage in order to get speaking engagements. I need speaking engagements in order to get footage. What do I do now? Kind of this conundrum. So there's 2 options. One is that you could find some type of local event that you could speak at for free. All right. We've had a lot of speakers that have done this. Remember that screenshot I showed you of my first demo video? The footage, it was dark. It was less than ideal, but that worked. That's what I had. And it was speaking at a local event for free. So you could do that. Another option is that you could speak to an empty room. Now, again, that feels weird. That may seem strange, but you can speak to an empty room and use that footage for your demo video. Okay. So remember, one of the other things we talked about is work with what you've got and improve as you go. Work with what you've got and improve as you go. All right, great questions. What else? What other questions do we have? Again, for those of you that are still hanging out here, they're still on the fence. What other questions do we have? How do we make this a no-brainer for you? How do we help you jump in and take action on this? Now, again, for some of you that may be like, all right, I'm intrigued, I'm interested, but I'm still just on the fence. I'm right there, but I'm on the fence. Remember, again, you have this guarantee. There's 2 guarantees, okay? You have the 60-day money back guarantee, meaning that if you go through, you do the work, show us that you did the work and you're not getting results, then we'll give you your money back. We know this works if you do the work. And then also you have that double your investment guarantee, where you can go through this. You have a full year. If you don't at least double your investment within 1 year, we will give you your investment back. Again, we know this works if you do the work. And so we're putting our money where our mouth is. And so we want to take away all the risk for you. We want to make this an absolute no-brainer for you. So think about it this way. The downside is you do the work and it doesn't work, you get your money back. The upside is you do the work and you get results and you make more than your investment back. I mean, think about that. Like, we really have taken away all of the risk for you. The downside, you do the work and you don't see results. The upside, you do the work and you do see results. Like, either way, you're going to get your money, right? Right? I mean, either way, you're going to get your money. So literally, we've removed all of the risk, all the barriers. We've made this an absolute no-brainer for you. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up here. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. We know that you're busy. We know you have a lot going on. If you have other questions, please feel free to email us. Email support@thespeakerlab.com, support@thespeakerlab.com. We're going to leave these fast action bonuses available just for a couple more minutes, but they will be disappearing and expiring here in just a couple of minutes. But for those of you that are like, okay, he's wrapping up, this is serious now. This is your chance. This is your last chance, last call. The train's leaving the station. If you're serious about finding and booking speaking engagements, you want to have a plan, you want to have that fast track, Booked and Paid to Speak is right for you. Remember, if you join in these next couple minutes before we wrap up, then you're also going to get those 4 fast action bonuses, okay? But again, this is only for people who join while we are still here on the webinar, all right? Once again, know that you're busy, know you have a lot going on. Thank you so much for being here. It really genuinely means a lot. We can't wait to work with you. We had a lot of people join. Looking forward to connecting with you on the inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you soon. You're awesome.